I am Brittany McDonald-Lancer, today's host with the Affordable Housing Collaborative. We are an independent, fact-based group of advocates concerned about the affordable housing crisis in El Paso County. Today, we welcome Eric Leonard, housing analyst for El Paso County. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely happy to be here.
All right, so I just got a few quick questions for you and answer as you feel you need to. So tell us about how you are helping the affordable housing in our community.
So here at the El Paso County Economic Development Department, we really try to take a holistic approach to our community efforts. So we have our distinct areas of focus, as always, that we have housing and business incentives, enterprise zone, CDBG, but they all really fit together in the groundwork for our community. So we try to collaborate as much as possible and really bring a multi-pronged attack to the affordable housing crisis. Making sure that people are housed is not just my job as the housing analyst, it also branches off into the other areas of our department as well. In regards to the direct assistance to affordable housing that we have three main programs here in El Paso County. We have private activity bonds, the Housing Trust Fund, and then the Turnkey Plus program. Private activity bonds, or PAB for short, are tax-exempt bonds used to finance affordable housing through the low-income housing tax credit. So every year, El Paso County receives an allocation of those private activity bonds. And what that ends up looking like for the community is over $10 million of funds that we have to build affordable housing. The El Paso County Economic Development Department also works very closely with the El Paso County Housing Authority. Our executive director, Krista Latier, and also myself, we work as staff for the Housing Authority. The Housing Trust Fund and the Turnkey Plus program both come out of the Housing Authority. The Housing Trust Fund is a revolving fund for low interest loans that are able to be used as gap financing for developers. And these funds don't use any taxpayer dollars, so the importance for them to be self-sustaining is of high priority to us. The Turnkey Plus program is a down payment assistance program that we have for home buyers who can receive up to 5% down payment assistance in the form of a 0% interest soft second mortgage. So this mortgage is forgivable and is only due upon payoff of the first mortgage. The requirements for this program they're pretty inclusive, and there isn't any first-time homebuyer requirement, even though 98% of our users are first-time home buyers. So it's really easy for people to use the program, which is the way that we want it to be. And these programs have accomplished a lot, especially last year in 2020. El Paso County gave a total of $65 million in private activity bonds, which will be adding 500 units of affordable housing on the northeast side of Colorado Springs. And these will be open by about next summer. The El Paso County Housing Authority also lent out $1.825 million to 4 different projects. One of those was also one of the PAB projects, but there's an additional 160 units that are currently in development from that Housing Trust Fund. And then the Turnkey Plus program, we were able to help 289 families get into a home that they wouldn't have been able to get into otherwise. And that was with almost $4 million worth of assistance that we provided. And that was 3 times as much as we did in 2019. So there's a lot of housing development going on in Colorado Springs and in the broader county as well. That'll bring over 650 units within the next 12 months. And we're really, really excited to see how that's going to impact the community as a whole, and how our 2021 efforts will have the same impact.
What kind of challenges have you all faced as well?
So really the biggest challenge that we've faced over the last year especially has been from the market itself. So it's kind of a blessing and a bit of a curse as well to have a challenge that we can't really do that much about specifically with the market as it is, but it also isn't of our own creation. So it isn't done by a mistake. In many ways, it just kind of comes out of COVID and the current inventory that we've got. So the lack of inventory that's within El Paso County is staggering. At one point earlier this year at the Housing Authority, we were talking about the current market, and there were 125 homes on the market at that time. And this is in a community of over 700,000 people. So earlier in the year, we had thought when we were at 1,000 homes on the market, we thought that was low inventory. But over the past months, we've really just seen what a real lack of housing options looks like. With that lack of inventory that we have, a lack of affordability follows right in line with that. The market value for homes in the county has absolutely exploded over the last 2 to 3 years, and even more so over the last 6 months. The last year has had a 24% increase in the value of homes, which makes buying a home for less than $200,000 almost impossible. And the median home price is now well over $400,000. With the shortage of raw materials and just the increased costs that come from that, we don't really have an end that's in sight currently. And the rental market goes right along with that. Landlords are selling their homes because they can make a killing on it. They've owned and rented it for years, but they can make so much more right now by capitalizing on the housing market, the status that we currently have in the housing market. It means that that itself means that there's less inventory for renters, and rents increase because landlords can charge more because their house is worth more, and there just is less apartment inventory. Even finding an apartment with less than 2 months notice is hard to do, and that makes moving between units incredibly difficult. So we're not even talking specifically about affordable housing, but just housing in general. And the same thing can be stated for affordable housing as well. Median gross rent in Colorado Springs is over $1,200 a month. So with fair market rent for a 2-bedroom apartment at $1,100, a renter needs to have an income of over $45,000 just to make that work and stay below 30% of their income going to housing. So the housing market in El Paso County is just so competitive and really isn't that affordable, which makes the units that we are coming out with in 2021 and next year as well all the more important.
Well, I guess the last thing I want to know is, how do you suggest people get involved in helping, ease or alleviate this crisis?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things right now is creativity. It's so easy for us to just have more as the solution, that all we need is more housing, more units, more money for developers, and more has to come from somewhere. So more is not necessarily the answer. If there's more money, that means tax dollars are being taken from something or being added to citizens. Or if more units means that we're using more land, and then there's the expansion of infrastructure that's required to go along with that. So as with anything, there's a balance, but creativity can allow a more efficient use of what we already have. With higher costs on the development side, developers will definitely need to be more creative with their financial resources and figuring out how to make their projects viable while also being able to remain affordable. There's long since been the talk of reducing the required percentage for private activity bonds, where half the project costs currently need to be covered by that PAB if it's going to be used. Reducing that to 25%, a little bit of creativity in how that works and changing the legislation just a little bit would essentially double the amount of funds available. So it doesn't mean that we have to get twice as much, but just half the amount that we have to use per project. With El Paso County specifically, one thing that we did at the Housing Authority is that we overhauled our turnkey program to make it self-sustaining in the form of the Turnkey Plus program that we have today. And we're always looking for changes that we can make to increase its viability and efficiency. And so having more as a part of the solution, I don't disagree with that statement that we definitely do need more. Obviously, that's something that the county is working at all the time, is trying to develop additional housing projects and increase the stock of affordable housing that we've got. But it's certainly not the only mode for success. Taking what we currently have or what we're given and making it better is definitely a viable route to the same outcome that we're trying to have, which is success in the face of our affordable housing challenges.
Thank you again for your time today. And to learn more about the Affordable Housing Collaborative, please visit our website that's listed below if you care about this issue, or share our Facebook page. Thank you all so much, and thank you again for your time.